everybody. Welcome to Justice Served Daily. We are going to be talking about the breaking news that just happened, which is hilarious because I had to cancel the stream I was going to play that I told you guys about of the Keegan Klein appeal case with the details of that. So I'll be rescheduling that for later tonight. That's a pre-recorded show. It'll look like a live, but it isn't. But in reaction, I have up here Miss Page. I have Mama Bear, and I've got Miss Jinx up here too.
Hi.
Hey.
Wow. I mean,
joining us.
You know what? You can't try to get any other things done when you cover the Delphi case. I'm just going to say that right now. You just can't. Because every time there is always a development of something happening, and it's like, oh my God.
Right.
They just called me about 30 minutes ago, and here I am.
Yeah, we're trying to get a hold of her. It was like an urgent development. We're like, where are you at?
Hey,
and what are you doing? It's crazy. It is just absolutely crazy. I mean, so if you're just joining us and you haven't heard or haven't saw, the big developments are that the only thing that was in the case, so let me go. So for my case, it was showing up that, and I know that they made an error on it because it was showing up for the upcoming March 18th date of the hearing that is supposed to come up for contempt. And then the person who entered it, normally to the left of it, it shows you the date that happened. Well, somebody, when they put that date, they accidentally put that as March 18th of 2024. So anyway, so all of a sudden there's, go back and I look over because I'm like, did they fix that? Was it corrected? And then I'm like, wait a minute, am I looking at something wrong? Why am I looking that there's another filing that happened today on the 6th? And so then to go and to find out that we hear that Richard Allen had them file. Now, it only has Rozzi on the document, and I don't know if that means something or doesn't mean anything, right? We haven't heard anything. Obviously,
that's rather curious, though, that he's not listed on that document.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because, I think kind of the early rumors, though, were, kind of like that maybe that Baldwin was going to look at leaving because he just doesn't want to be a part of the whole contempt part of the case. And I mean, when you think of, for me, in my opinion, when you think of the leaks and all this kind of stuff, in my opinion, it seems mostly to have been on the Baldwin side, not on the Rozzi side. So I kind of feel bad for Rozzi in that manner, right? Because I feel like it was more kind of led that way. It was Baldwin who, I'm air quoting here, accidentally sent Woodhouse an email, right? And it was Baldwin who accidentally let Mitch Westerman in his conference room alone for him to take the pictures, right? So you've got all this stuff that is happening, going on. And so I was like, well, wait a minute. Why is that only filed by one? Although they can file a document with only one of the attorneys and stuff on it. And we all know that when they were trying to appear for the Indiana Supreme Court, that was one of the things they were trying to argue the fact of, which didn't make any sense, right? Because they never had filed what Richard Allen wanted 2 months prior, which was a speedy trial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm. So why now?
So now we're looking that the trial would have to be completed in May. So there is no waiting. Isn't it just, oh my God. So that really only puts it at February, March, April, May. So 4 months later than it originally would have been held, because it would have been held January of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally, yes.
Yep.
And you figure how many months before it's scheduled now. So
I know. It's just, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we can't really assume anything's going on with Baldwin because he's not on this document that Rosin stuffed in there. But wow, it just makes it. I mean, I'm thrilled it's earlier. Let's get this shit over with.
Amen to that. I'm tired of the conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you, Jinxie. I love you, honey.
It's getting good.
I really am. Like, hold on. Okay, like, look at I'm sick and tired of all the BS conspiracy theories. Y'all need to chill out.
Well, and you know what's sad? Because I was
Yep.
going to come up with my own, right? I wanted to come up with like a really clever one.
I mean,
mine was going to be like maybe Illuminati. I was going to blame Illuminati, and
I think
was
that's
gonna
already
find
been
that.
done. JSD, I think that's already been done once by a couple of people.
See, you know why? Because
too late.
It takes me much longer to come out with shows because I try to go look for all the facts and details to prove to everybody. And then I miss all the opportunities of like make up shit I can do. Just like,
right?
You could have wrote a book for sure about it.
So we're gonna, since this is a nice fun show of us yapping and talking and what our reactions and stuff are. So we're going to allow this show to have, some speculation here. So I'm prepping everybody out there. By the way, let me make sure I'm acknowledging. We got Shane out there. Hello, Shane. We're all up here yapping through it. Hey, we've got Coach Kev.
Yeah.
Wow. Hello, Coach Kev. Hey, Coach Kev, do you want to come up here and yap with us?
Yeah, Coach, I'll send you the link if you want.
Have you ever heard of a show called Outnumbered? You would be the only male. We won't be scary.
In a sea of estrogen. Be careful. No, just
yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'd love to have them up here. Right? We have Coach Kev up here.
Jamie.
I got Night Shadow. Jinx, you said you were going to send that. That's not my dog. It's not my dog.
That's Jinxie. That's Jinxie's. You can tell the difference.
We got another dog that loves true crime. Oh.
Yeah, I will let you know that I was sitting here, and during the recording of the Keegan Klein appeal trial stuff, always my one dog, and he barked like twice in there because if he thinks anybody is like even near the door, a shadow of the door, whatever, he is barking like a maniac. You know what I mean? So I can't do a show without that happening. And then when we're yapping, I mean, hey, Miss Jamie Hicks. Hello. Jamie, your videos, I love your stuff. I just love your stuff. You crack me up.
Yes. She has some of the best rants, y'all. I just love her rants. I'm not even going to play.
Oh, yeah. I spend many mornings just looking through her community posts.
I know, they're great.
I love, and let me tell you, and some of these people that can do these shorts or do these videos that have somebody else's head or something on them. Oh my God, I need to learn how to do that stuff.
Yes.
Right. I really need to learn how to do that stuff because I have a hilarious one. I really need to create. Actually, let me see if I can find this thing. I gotta share it. Is
Ron Logan is here.
Did Coach Kev say that he coming up?
He's got a meeting with the city over a union grievance, or else he would come up, he says.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like fun.
All right. Ron Logan. Lord have mercy. He's gonna sell us some chickens, y'all.
So because I don't know how to do it, but I will share this clip with everybody. Let me see here if I can pull this up right. Maybe. I think you guys will find this hilarious. So I wanted to get a video and make a video for Keegan Klein, right? And this is what my video would be a clip of. This is to make him talk.
And I love Chunk. How could you destroy Chunk? He's my favorite
Tell us
character
everything.
in the Goonies.
Everything.
Okay, I'll stop.
Hey, kid. I want you to spill your guts. Tell us everything.
And the story he tells is probably so relevant to Keegan
Right.
Klein.
Now, see, if I could do the head change, I would make that Keegan's, right?
I pushed my sisters down the stairs and then I blamed it on the dog.
I cut
You better
it from
stop
the,
it.
where he does his normal, in third grade, I did this. In fifth grade, I did this.
I don't know. I think I might have gone with the truffle shuffle scene.
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to get the point in there about that kind of stuff, but hey,
Right.
I mean, if there's anybody who would also like to, sit there, let's see, I see something in here. Let's remove that. Yeah. But yeah, I thought that would be hilarious to try to get him to talk and have that video and stuff in it. I just thought it'd be awesome to be able to do it. But hello, Marbles. How are you? Mommy Wolverine. I like that one. I love Wolverine. I got to admit that that's one of my favorite.
Oh, she is a doll too. Like she came to my cookout. She's come to the Flora Memorial Walk. Mommy Wolverine is a very special lady. I love her to pieces.
Oh, Mothers of Dragons. I can't miss you. Hello. Okay. So the total, you were going into speculation and thoughts and stuff like that. So we know that not till the 18th there's going to be the case to hear the details of what the Indiana State Police found with the leaks and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we've got that. So now, suddenly, in this time frame where we were waiting for them to get approval, remember they filed not that long ago, just recently, asking the state for more money to pay for expert witnesses for the defense. So that just happened recently, right? So when they ask all that stuff, I mean, is there anything you read into that? I mean, suddenly it's like, is this a Richard Allen push again of I want to be done. I want to get this over with. Let's just go with it. That is he like, okay, well, they've got this info because, remember the defense team was arguing they weren't ready and they hadn't been able to work on the case to go up against all of the information that the prosecution dropped for discovery. Remember, they were basically saying they lost time because of that. So now suddenly there's a trial in 70 days. What's your guys' thoughts?
Go ahead, Jinx.
You go first, Jinx.
All right. Well, obviously, that whole Frank's memorandum was just nothing but something you could just wipe your backside with. You know what I'm saying? And they basically just pulled out all the stops on their BS at this point. What are they going to do? Say finally, okay, fine, we'll get this over with because, we know we're screwed, I feel like, is what they're kind of putting forward at.
Yeah, it's like they've tried to play this circus a little too long now, so maybe they're even like, fine, let's do it.
We'll see. Who knows at this point? Like I said, I'm so tired of the conspiracy theories. Like I was joking with somebody today. I was like, y'all, I know that there's people out there doing these paranormal things, but that stuff cracks me up. I call it a fart box. And I'm just like, I'm waiting on some fart box spirit theory to come out next from this defense.
Well, it's always something.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean,
yeah, and it's just like the longer the years have gotten since this happened, the crazier the conspiracy theories have gotten year by year. Like in the beginning, you remember some of the things that were said then, but they've just grown so much. It's just absolute nonsense.
It's a virus. I mean, truly, it's a virus in the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's taken over.
I feel bad because the families themselves. Because I
Amen.
can't imagine being in the shoes
They
of
can't
somebody
defend
whose
themselves.
child has been murdered. And right now, especially, because I know we were talking about this the other day, Mama Bear and Paige and stuff, we were sitting there going, the accusations seem like they had happened early on, then it stopped, then it's like heightened. But I feel like it heightened because they can't respond. They're under a gag order.
Nope.
They can't argue
Exactly.
what's the truth and what's not, right?
Exactly.
And imagine how they feel. This happened to them, their family, right? And they've got to deal with this every day since, and they're fighting and they're trying their hardest to remain positive and see that this will, justice will be sought for Abby and Libby. And while this is happening, they're having so many people attack them, put stupid information online that isn't true, and they've got to sit there and just take it.
Yep.
You can't
It's
even
horrible.
imagine. Yeah. It's
I
disgusting.
couldn't imagine. I would probably
great
go over.
process. And it's been 7 years. Obviously, we all know that. It's been 7 years.
Yep.
And the series are getting so vile and disgusting. And I mean, we can all think about things that these people, our creators, have done and said over the last even 30 days.
Right.
It's just outrageous.
I would have ended up breaking the gag order at this point. I'd be in jail if.
I would too.
I'm serious.
I would too.
I'd be fined.
If somebody was commenting about stuff like that, I can't even imagine. I mean, there was no way, especially talking about, if they were talking about, your family and stuff like that. I think that the thing is that, I do realize that part of the, charm that was Delphi was that it is a little town. So when we're looking into people and we're looking into the whole Logan thing, right? The Eastman thing, meaning, let me clarify, Logan Lorman, the kid who just got arrested, who went to school with the girls. Looking at Brent Eastman, who, lived in Delphi before he lived in Anderson when he got busted. So when we start looking at all these people, the thing is that when you look into that, there are a lot of people that knew the family because most of everybody knows each other in Delphi.
Yep, exactly. How can you not? It's a small community, for heaven's sakes.
So then
3,000 people?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So when you think about that, but I don't know. I feel like maybe Richard Allen, all this is going on. The discovery's going on. They're sharing with him all the new discovery, right? Because they said how overwhelming it was. They wanted more, time and stuff from that. They had to get through this hearing with that. I really feel like he's just like, let's just get this over with. Which, and again, this is total speculation. We're doing that because it's just a fun BS show here today, which I normally don't do, but I'm just shocked by it. And thrilled for the development. Let's get it done. Let's hear the case. And I think that, who knows? Maybe he's moving the case and stuff forward from that. Would you think that Baldwin and Rozzi would recommend for him? Because something's going to be offered to him. That they could sit there and say, okay, look, if you want to plead guilty and take a plea deal, then we'll give you this much time instead of this. Well, and this is what this is totally my opinion. I think part of their strategy of adding the first degree murder charges onto the felony murder charges was in order to negotiate a possible plea deal. To take the murder charges, first degree murder off the table and then have it be felony murder. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think it's kind of a prosecutional, plan.
I agree with you there. Yep, definitely. Also, too, with the speedy trial requirements, too, It does have to be done reasonably within that time frame that they're requesting, meaning Judge Gall has to accommodate that. And also, too, if it's non-accommodated and not done within that certain period of time, and of course he's in prison, but it does obviously in the statute say jail, dependent in jail, they have to release him too. So I don't know. Be interesting to see what Judge Gall's,
Oh, she ain't gonna release him, that's for sure.
No, but what's on her docket? I mean, she can very easily, change things around. She can do that. Postpone another one and move his up. So it shouldn't be an issue, but still, but that does have to be done per the law.
Right. So
Rule 4.
Shane just asked, when is Keegan's appeal? Anyway, it's already in process, Shane. I'll be dropping a show tonight for it. It's recorded. It would have been on right now, except I had to cancel it to go live for this. Been. But the Indiana Attorney General did already respond to the appeal. It hasn't been decided yet. But that's why it's like, if Keegan was going to talk, he's kind of running out of time. You know what I mean? Unless they're going to try to get him to give anything else up, give more stuff up in order for federal charges, because the distribution wasn't charged on that. So, but yeah, I just have the curiosity if he's like, let's just get this done. Let's not wait till October. I want to be done with it. I don't want to have any more with it. And can he be sitting here, thinking that he even wants to move the process even further? Is he going to go through a jury trial, or is he going to end up making a plea deal? Because he still had that option before he's coming up in October, but now he can do that even by time the May.
Sure. Absolutely. Interesting. What do you think he's going to take? What do you think he wants then? Plea deal? Is that what you're leaning?
Well, we do have the death penalty here.
Yes, you do.
So,
yes, you do.
If he doesn't want that to happen, he could take it.
I've definitely been wondering if he's going to take a plea deal at the last second.
Yeah. I mean, especially, and we have to remind everybody, we don't know everything that they have. We don't know.
No.
If there's a DNA match. We don't know if there was something on the phones. We don't know if they found DNA
or an item or anything related to Abby and Libby at all. You know?
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. So we know what they were looking for, and we know what they took, which is interesting in itself. But yeah, we don't know why or what was done or what was found.
Yep. And I think if there was overwhelming evidence, I mean, that could be where they thought, well, shit, you know what I mean? Like, I just need to make a deal. Because they can sit here and give me the death penalty, so I just need to be done.
That's so true, Wolverine. Mm-hmm.
So it'll. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm totally speculating here. But, what do you guys think? Do you think this was Richard Allen's decision, again, to file this early? Or do you think the attorneys fought him on it? Or do you think they were for it?
I really don't know at this point if Richard Allen is getting much say in anything with them too. I'll be honest. I don't know.
After the last thing.
Yeah. Like, it just seemed like he honestly was not aware of their behavior and what they were doing.
The whole thing.
I don't know.
I mean, it just, this case is just, I hate to say it, it's just been.
Or maybe he's been begging them this whole time to just let it happen, and he's confessed already, and just, I don't know. We will
that's the
have to
thing.
wait and see.
How are they
Well,
going to get around the confessions? I
Right.
mean, God, Jinx, I'm sorry, honey. What?
No, you go. You were heading in the right direction. I was going in anyway.
Well, no. I mean, how can you get around that? Him confessing to his mother, him confessing
they
multiple times
tried
to his wife. I mean,
in a few
granted,
different ways.
he did break the iPad or whatever Samsung device, whatever the hell it was, but he broke it.
Right.
So
In 8 fucking documents.
oh
Sorry
my
to
God.
swear.
Say it like
Died
you mean
already.
it, Paige.
I've never heard of an innocent person eating documents as they're awaiting their trial. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That's a little cray-cray.
They were going to add that in the next report they filed, that they weren't feeding him, so he had to eat documents that were brought in.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Oh, it's full of protein.
Oh, I was going to say, you got a gluten allergy, buddy?
Maybe that's why they threw out the mental health stuff, because they were like, how can we possibly explain why he fucking ate the paper?
Exactly. Oh my God.
I mean,
they had to do a scope on. They had to do a scope on him just to read what it said. They did an endoscopy.
Every time I think of it, it reminds me of like a toddler, like who's just eating paper and just chewing it, and they look for a look of disgust on their face, but they're still eating it.
Doing
Just like,
spitballs,
that's like somebody does it and they put it in their mouth and you go, that was a copy, so don't worry about that.
Like, okay, hang on, I'll go print that off again for you. If you're still
I don't understand. Like, what do you think that's gonna do? Just because it's out of his sight, it's gone, it doesn't exist. Like, oh,
oh my God.
I don't know.
Oh
Yeah, I don't feel like. Obviously, Richard Allen wanted an early trial a while back, or he wouldn't have filled out that form in the first place.
Yeah,
and the way it shows up, in the thing, in my case, it shows, Richard Allen has this, and then you see the signed document. And, the other thing is whatever was coming up in this contempt trial, I'm sure they had to share, like maybe probably give him a heads up about it. And he's going to hear what was happening and going on or whatever. So if he's got that going and that's going to go out to the public, then, not only to try to save his own butt, but also just because, does he want to sit there in a trial in front of, it makes me think, does he want to sit here in a trial in front of a jury while this is prolonged going on with all this information to see what they say of all the evidence that they have? And, we know what, although they can change their plan, I mean, they don't have to stick with, to be honest, they don't have to stick with Odinist. They can bring whatever they want to in front of the jury. They could throw out something else to be the, other theories of who else could have done it, so that they, they create that reasonable doubt, right? That's what the play is to create that reasonable doubt. But, is he sitting here and looking at stuff, and is he going to see enough evidence that trial coming up that he wants done so early that they do not have enough time to get ready for? They just said this, guys. They just said they don't have time to get ready. And now he files with Rozzy a 70-day trial.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
A little bit.
Well, if he takes a plea, it could be earlier than that if he decides to plea, honestly.
Exactly. Lord, please let him just go ahead and do it.
And I would just like to see a part of the plea deal, if they do make one with him, I'm just saying hypothetically, but I would like to see him have to spell everything out. Exactly what happened and who was involved. If there were other people involved, who was involved. That's what I want. Sorry.
CJK had to dip out before she missed anything important. No, we're just yapping about what stuff, we think is going on. I just think, like, if he sits here, no matter what the plea deal is going to be, if there is anybody else there when the murders happen, whether waiting, whether who set it up, well, you know what I mean? Any detail of that. If
Oh, yeah.
somebody else set up the meeting, if somebody else is waiting in to help to move or do something, if there's another person there at the crime scene, right? Somebody else who did it, because the initial charges were felony charges that he committed a kidnapping that ended up leading to the murders. So
Right.
if they think there's anybody else involved in any other fashion, his any kind of plea deal would be he has to give that shit up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it always brings me back to Keegan, you know what I'm saying, too?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, ATS. How are you? ATS, would you like to come up and join us to talk about this reaction of what's going on, of this early trial? You're welcome to. I can throw the link in here. I don't know.
Yeah. I just wanted to say as well, like, in my opinion, obviously, but based on the comments from law enforcement since Richard Allen's arrest, I entirely believe that we're looking for more than just him. So, we believed that for a very long time now. In the beginning, I didn't think so. I thought it was just Bridge Guy. We were looking for Bridge Guy, but the more we've learned, the more I think we're looking for more people. And they know.
Well, and and I'd like to bring this up too, that we've got Jinx up here as well. I mean, here's somebody I'm looking for. Oh, that's okay. ATS.
Yeah,
That's a little one climbing all over me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that the way it always is when
Yep.
you got the babies? You have dogs.
Hello, Marvel.
ATS has babies.
Yeah, I'm a
Hello.
dog mom.
So Jinx is going to ask, what is your thoughts on where the hell is Flannel Shirt Guy and what he witnessed?
Oh.
Why are you gonna ask me that? I feel like that's a lot of smoke and mirrors, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I've always been suspicious of the flannel shirt guy situation, but I mean, there's really nothing to validate my suspicions, so I really can't say much about that. I don't know. I just think it smells like shit. Sorry. I'm not so eloquent in my language today.
Oh, that's all right.
It smells right.
Well,
it makes me.
So let me tell you my theory on that. I felt like there was some witnesses that were missing on purpose because they also could have seen somebody else that would have been there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because if what supposedly Flannel Shirt Guy said was true, is that he is walking, he runs into Derek, right? He tells Derek asked him, hey, have you seen two girls? He says, oh, there's a couple back towards the bridge, but I haven't seen these, haven't seen these girls. So he has that Derek goes down the 505 instead.
Yeah.
So while he's walking on that path, heading towards the Freedom Bridge, and whether still heading towards the Freedom Bridge at the time or coming back from walking to the Freedom Bridge, allegedly, it was said that then he saw somebody step out from the woods and start walking towards, they came out from the woods and walked towards the Freedom Bridge.
Allegedly, it was around 2:47 p.m.
So remember early on,
3:47.
Yeah, remember early on when we kept hearing these things about, well, they like, and I wondered what the hell they would know this. Originally, lots of people were saying that the murderer was still there 15 to 20 minutes after Derek got there. And I kept thinking, what is that coming from? Right? That was early on. Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, then you're like, okay, well, if flannel shirt guy, and this is I don't know this right? I don't have this confirmation to be able to say. I'm just saying what I know has been shared. If flannel shirt guy saw somebody, and that is what his recollection is, that he sees Derek, then he's still walking. Derek takes off to go look for the girls. And then while he's walking the trail, all of a sudden somebody walks out, and then some guy walks out of there, and then he's going towards the Freedom Bridge.
It's like he was off the trail in the woods and then entered the trail.
So, one, it could be, somebody else who they've already accounted for, or it could be somebody else who was also there at the crime scene.
Yep.
But we know it's not Richard Allen, because Richard Allen is supposed to be on 300 North. So who stepped out of the woods and onto the trail to head back across?
It would have been
the Freedom Bridge.
Apparently before Richard Allen was seen leaving. So it's like, did someone else who committed this crime, leave in a different direction to end up where this person was allegedly seen? Like, is that the second person involved?
Yep.
We don't know.
Yep.
I just want to say hi to Grizz Bear, rescue all the dogs really fast. Turbo time!
Turbo Time's here, yep. Hello, Miss Turbo Time. I love Miss Turbo Time. She sits there, and I tell you, I've seen since being on some of the stuff with her, sharing back and forth about stuff for Keegan Klein. I just absolutely love it, because she is awesome at that stuff.
Yes, she
absolutely
is.
Awesome. But you know what I mean? If it is true that he did see somebody and it wasn't in there, and again, that was going around for a very long time. Now, I know that the dog lady was said, and then that was BS, and then that was just straight out that came in there. But if it is true that somebody else saw somebody, then my thought is like, okay, are those witnesses being held for somebody else? Or did they account for the person that's there? Or, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I have a theory that I feel like, in my opinion, I feel like this had to be Richard Allen's first time. And the reason I say that is because who lets a bunch of witnesses see them while they're fixing to go commit a murder? I don't think the intention was to commit a murder. And I feel like I just have this sense like that he wasn't by himself. I know he could have been. I'm not saying he could have not been. And maybe that's what all the evidence will point to. Sure. But I feel like that right when he's sitting there getting on the path and on the trail, that he lets three girls see him.
Right.
That he has to tell the authorities that he saw them too, because he knows that they saw him. So he confirms the damn shit. I mean, and that's the thing. Nobody's just said it. He literally confirms that he saw him. Describes one.
For me, it's that witness who says that she was approaching the bridge, the Monon High Bridge, when she witnessed a man on the first platform, and she was shown the sketch of Bridge Guy at the time, and she said, yeah, like, that's the guy. She was shown the video taken by Libby, and she said that's who she saw. And then she, that was confirmed to be Richard Allen. So it's just like, she definitely believes that she saw him,
Yeah.
And they believe it because they put it in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the timing as well of when she said she saw him, when she said Abby and Libby passed her towards the bridge, and from the time where the picture of the bridge was taken at 2:05, the picture of Abby was taken at 2:07. We can't see anyone else behind her at that time, but by 2:13, Libby's taken that video of Bridge Guy following behind Abby on that bridge. There's no way someone else just popped into the picture and followed them at that time. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not to me, in my opinion.
Hello, Phil Bond. Hello, Nana72. Oh, Nana saying hi to Mama Bear.
Well, I'm trying to say hi and, kind of mod and be up on panel at the same time. I'm sorry if I forgot people. So,
Mama Bear on you over here.
Okay. It's kind of hard.
So Jinx, I mean, what is your thought? Do you think that Richard Allen was alone?
I thought for the longest time that it was a lone wolf, the bridge guy solo. We were looking for one person. And then the 2019 change of direction kind of had me raising an eyebrow. And then after Richard Allen's arrest and they did the other press conference, and I mean, Nick McClellan said that there was other bad actors involved. So that was kind of like, okay, well, definitely not an alone.
Even from like the change in, I feel like the family's kind of, reaction to it. Like when Richard Allen's name was put out on social media, a lot of the families were kind of saying today's the day, we've got him, that kind of thing. And then the press conference happened and you can see how visibly distraught the family members still are, because they haven't got all the answers that they want, because they're aware that Richard Allen isn't the only person. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel looking at that.
Well, they talked to them beforehand, and the other thing is that both Carter and McClellan are talking how, remember, they also weren't answering any questions about the Kleins. So if you guys hadn't seen that,
no,
and what that I did,
what does Doug
the Kleins are being asked, and they're like, we're not going to go there. We're not going to answer those questions.
And Doug Carter does say one time in an interview that the Klein connection thing, the investigation, it helped them gain significant investigative leads.
Right.
What does that mean? You have to wonder.
Well, and I mean, come on, you've got, that new arrest of Logan Lorman. I mean, tell me that doesn't come from shit that was shared, and that's how they got that kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the timing of all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them in Northern Indiana. I mean, if you guys haven't been looking at Justice's community page, I mean, there was a wasn't it it was a basketball coach, law enforcement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Turbo said, why do you guys think the Unified Command Center in Delphi is so busy? There were many LE vehicles there yesterday, marked and unmarked. It's been like this for months, and I can confirm that.
Yep. Yep.
Popping, y'all. Popping.
I did have the other day, actually, two people in a bunch of the messages that I got after having the Logan Lorman show, people talking about that, people asking other things in there. So, because here's the thing, and maybe it was because they knew as soon as they drop it, they got to go get them all at once. And you guys saw the guy up in Northern Indiana, I also posted, who they had to go freaking catch him 7,000 miles away. He took off. He was gone. Because he wasn't just about that. There's other stuff on him that's on production. It wasn't just his CSAM that he had. He had other charges added to it.
Absolutely. Yep. It just makes my head shake. It's disgusting. Sorry.
I mean, that's why, I mean, at the beginning, one of the things that was frustrating for me was, and I'm just, this is no disrespect to any early creator, but anybody from Indiana who knew when these girls said, hey, we're looking for the girls, and then suddenly the next day we realized that there's some murderer who killed two children in a park of two girls who are missing, then you're like, you're scared as shit. You know, whether you have kids, kids, or maybe you have grandkids or whatever out there, then you're like, shit, there's somebody who did this and committed this here. So then you're like, the stuff with the CSAM and all those people that were connected early on, I felt that immediately with Keegan. I felt there was more to that story, and that's why I started right away doing that. And honestly, there, early on, a lot of the Delphi creators, and I'm not trying to despair, whatever, who, like a lot of the early ones on that were males, were not really paying attention to the CSAM or understanding how girls can get convinced and groomed right out of the house and to this and have something happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think a lot of people in the beginning, obviously, we weren't looking social media wise because we were actually told that they didn't think that was a connection at the time. So, but when like the Anthony Shot stuff was revealed, I just find it hard that these people still think that that could not be involved. Like the things that we know, and obviously that really great video that you did, JSD, on why we think there is a connection there. The stuff that is there for us to find is a lot. So just imagine what we can't find, what's been hidden from us as well.
Right. Oh yeah, that's the ones we know about.
Yeah.
Turbo, you should come up here.
I know.
Absolutely.
Come on, Turbo.
Turbo, you want to come up here? I'm
Yes,
sure.
yes,
I know Jinx can figure out quicker than I can about getting you the link.
Come on,
yeah,
Turbo.
I can get a link really quick if you like. Hi, Cecil Hotel. I see you.
Oh,
hi. Well, welcome.
The Cecil Hotel. It's one of my big. Oh, I love that case.
and Jamie, you're welcome to come up too if you want to show your thoughts and opinions. I know you fight for the truth to come out about stuff.
It's interesting, Turbo, as well, that she just said the AS account was accessed after Keegan was incarcerated. So I'd be interested to know.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is you think about the timing that I telling you that I would bet a lot of money that Brent Eastman was tied to that. I'm just going to say it, in my opinion, and it's total speculation, right, of me to tell you that I think it was with Tony Klein, because Keegan sits here and talks about how he's not into any of the younger kids. He likes the teenage kids, although he did have very young kids. I mean, he had very young girls he was communicating to. Tonight, I will be dropping the appellate court stuff of what the Indiana Attorney General filed back against Keegan's argument of getting less time. That was going to be on this afternoon. I'll drop it. It always shows up as a live. We're not technically live. It's just recorded, but whatever. But I had to delay it for this show. But yeah, I mean, you have somebody who repeatedly keeps talking about it. And I point out in that the Indiana State Police head of Internet Crimes Against Children, which is Chris Cecil, states in the thing where he's like, there's no proof that Keegan Klein went to meet with anybody. Any of these people he's talking to, even though he asked them. There's no proof that he sent money to anybody. He didn't have money. He's a broke bastard. He didn't have any damn money. He had no job. Right? He didn't have any of that.
No.
And then, then you sit here and you've got, somebody's trading back and forth in the Emily Ann account that is going to somebody else, and they're trading back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, So I think that that's why we're going to end up seeing a connection on all of that, Reading here. Yeah, and they had all the drop boxes.
Turbo can't come up, JSD,
Oh,
just so you know.
Turbo.
She said she'd like to, but she can't, but I don't know if Jamie can or not. Jinx
I
dropped
dropped
the link,
it
though.
I dropped it in Discord. If you want, I can drop it in chat if that's faster. I didn't know if you wanted me to drop it openly in chat, though. I just want to double check.
Yeah, Jamie, would you like to come up? You're welcome
to.
There you go. There it is. You go, girl.
I got you
Jinx,
covered.
Jinx, you have like everything right on hand, man.
Yeah. I can't even do that.
I mean,
Well, hey, to let you guys know that somebody who's lived in Delphi for 27 years now and hung out with some of the worst, never heard of Odin's in Delphi, or Odinist, or however you want to say it. They believe
Yeah.
Richard Allen is guilty because he kept quiet all this time while he was partying with family members at bars, and they find his silence to be guilt because everyone in that town talked about this case.
Yep. Well, I will tell you, whether the people are Odinlist or like to,
pedophiles,
are ride a motorcycle, belong to a club, Illuminati, are vegan, whatever, nude sunbathers. I don't care what group they're part of. The one thing I can tell you that a big group is involved in it is a bunch of freaking perverts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And no matter what, there was stuff being shared and stuff from that. So if you have that happening, my fear is that it's even worse than a child petty ring happening here again in the state of Indiana and maybe across the country. Because don't forget about the guy in California that I think was also connected, that they found horrific stuff for him. And what was most of his victims from, even though he had around the world and across the country, most of victims were from Kokomo, Indiana. What the hell?
I mean,
right?
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy.
Yep. He's one of my worst of the worst that I did the thing on there. Yep. And they were hiding his identity.
Yes. Well, it's just like the last one you did, with Logan. It's like, okay, how'd they keep that one silent? Amazing. I mean, and obviously, you and Jinx are from the area. Obviously, Paige with her accent, if you didn't know. She's not. And I'm not either.
I think I know more about Indiana than I do about the UK, to be honest.
No kidding.
Now.
My own state, too. I swear to God. I know where the areas
more about
are.
the laws there.
Yeah. Me too.
Kind of ridiculous.
Hey, hybrid. Hello.
Hey, hybrid.
Yeah, I think there's stuff in there. My fear is that and I'll ask each of you to kind of share what your thoughts are. But, as I think further, like, what was the end game? What was the motive? What was the motive from that? And I feel like if it was just a sexual assault, there wouldn't have been a gun brought, a knife brought, everything that happened, a rope, right? I feel like I'm playing Clue. But
right? Where's the candlestick?
Right,
yeah.
right, exactly.
And the conservatory.
Oh my God, why wouldn't it be there?
Oh my God.
They found that in Ron Logan's house. That's what they found. It was a candlestick.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But
don't make me get out my sign.
They have but I think, you know what? I mean, the other thing that's scary is if this involved potential child sex trafficking.
Yep.
And, something like that, because sometimes people aren't kidnapped to do that. They're forced into doing something like that. They can remain in there, or there are people who are taken from that. And then you have it where it could have been surprised that, Abby was there too. So the Anthony Schatz who was trying to meet her didn't realize that, Abby's going to be there as well.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. CJK, that was my honest thing as well. It's like I've never heard of such a thing to tell me that white supremacists are going to murder 2 white girls. right?
No.
That
It's
doesn't make
good, Kitty.
sense.
No, it doesn't. Kitty, hi, honey.
Haven't-
Oh,
Cecil
hello.
Hotel said funny too. Listen to this. Cecil Hotel said, I think the defense team has been reading our chats.
I know, I
innocent
saw that.
on a quick trial.
Yeah, right.
Oh, shit. The
Oh,
defense
wait.
team is in Discord? What the hell?
Oh my god.
Hold on. Well, you know they've already been in Discord. I mean, excuse me. Did I say that out loud? That's
You can
funny.
say whatever you want.
Go on.
Can we hold you back, honey? I don't
Oh,
think so.
well, I mean, I'm just going to say that y'all should look at Jamie Hicks's page then, because she's got some
Oh,
receipts
Jamie's amazing.
on her wonderful community page, that lovely lady. And you know what? I'll drop her link for you too.
There you go.
Jamie's sweet.
Bada boom, bada boom.
Is Jamie coming up or no? She can't come up.
No, I don't think she. I don't know. I didn't see a response from her.
Yeah.
Turbo said she
What's
couldn't.
everyone else's ideas of what could have possibly been the plan? Like, what was the motive?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is all I can say about it. Anybody who follows true crime, and if you've watched it for a long time and you know what stuff, you have to think of the crime scene on your own, independent thought, okay? And when you think of independent thought in the crime scene, what the defense was trying to sell was not, and I haven't seen the crime scene photo, let me say that, but it doesn't describe even what is in the description of how the bodies were found, even in the probable cause for Richard Allen. Because Abby is completely dressed. Libby is not. So if Abby is the target, why is Libby left that way?
Yeah, because you have to understand that just Libby being nude and dressed, that already points to kind of a sexual motive in nature, without anything else being taken into account that might be there or might have happened.
I've said it before. If you're there just to murder someone, you don't need to undress someone to murder them. You know,
Right.
That's not necessary if that was your main goal. So you're right. It absolutely goes to a sexual motive, in my opinion. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Susie, that he, we talked about the motion to dismiss in the community page. I shared that Westerman wants the motion to dismiss because he's trying to say that that Baldwin didn't own the pictures. He owned the paper the pictures on, and I swear to God, I'm not even joking. I swear to God, these words, I'm not joking. Look in a community post if you guys did not see it. His thing is that, well, he really didn't steal anything because only thing that Baldwin owned was the paper that the photos were on. So him taking photos of the photos was not him stealing crime scene photos.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Oh my God, that's the biggest loaded.
No, kidding.
That's some right shit right there, okay? What the hell? I didn't take the paper. I just snapped my picture on my phone. It's not stealing. Oh, Lord.
No, it's called data protection. You know? You broke that?
Yeah, amen.
Oh, my God.
Broke it. Shit.
I mean, here's the thing. This is what I think the response should be. The response should be that what you stole was the knowledge of the crime scene.
Exactly.
It didn't have to deal with the goddamn paper that the freaking picture was
Yeah,
on.
and it's not only that. What did you do with those pictures? You didn't keep them to yourself, did you?
Nope.
Well, you want me to drop an exclusive here that I didn't share because I held back when I posted that? Even
Oh, yeah.
even Paige and Mama Bear. Well, let me think. Maybe I did tell them. Yes, I did tell them. I did post that.
I was going to say hiding stuff from us.
Mitch, no, I
I hope you told
no, I
me.
had to think for a minute. It's like, wait a minute, I would have told them.
You better had.
Hello, your besties.
Mitch Westerman's wife filed for divorce.
Oh yeah, we
Oh,
know.
yeah, she sure did.
Yep, we saw that. Yeah,
He sure did.
And he sold his house.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to say somebody was telling me that it sold for like 400 and I'm just gonna say 420,000 or something like that. I know that's probably a little less than what I think. I want to say it was 430, but I can't say off the top of my head. I call bullshit on my numbers. Y'all know this. I can't. I'm not a number person.
Oh, Jinx.
I always get numbers wrong, man.
Like
man, she doesn't even let us call bullshit on her numbers. She calls bullshit on her own numbers.
On herself.
Because I know how bad it is.
Hey, I think 2 and 2 is 5.
Me with my memory.
Wait.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Oh, Jamie. Hey, Jamie.
Hello. So good to be such a part of an amazing panel.
Oh, you
Well,
sweetheart.
welcome on here. I know we've seen each other in chats. We've never talk. So, hello.
Aw.
It's so I love your work on here, girl. I'm just so impressed by you, and I'm so impressed with how you don't worry about the words that you say. You're gonna say the R word. You're gonna say killed, murder, and not unalive. And I just adore that about you.
Yeah, I think honestly, I feel like that YouTube itself needs to adjust for true crime creators because
the algorithm doesn't like us.
Yeah, I don't think it's giving justice to somebody or any family whatsoever to say that somebody was unalive. They were murdered.
It takes away from what happened to them. Absolutely.
It diminishes. It diminishes what the family, what they went through, what the families went through.
Well, hell, and plus I can't keep up with these. I'm sorry, I can't keep up with these fucking abbreviation shit.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I had somebody was like, can you tell me about
the Delphi case? If you just named everyone by their initials.
That found SOD. You know what I mean? Like, I can't. It's like, what the hell are you saying?
Acronyms are for the military and police.
Speaking of the Delphi case, so what are you guys' opinions? Do y'all think that Ricky was a total lurker on all of our stuff? I really do feel like the defense got, the theory. They basically took that theory from Reddit.
I really think he was hiding in plain sight.
I hate that bitch. Reddit's looking at Delphi stuff right now. Reddit is crazy. Although I will say there are good people who share some good information in there, but we all know that Reddit also is where you go for the truth to end up dying, right? It ends up dying out there.
The needle in a haystack trying to find the truth on there, but it is there sometimes.
Yeah, Mark, you gotta sift through a lot of shit to get to it, though.
Well, but they've always said that you've got any crime, any criminal out there is going to watch to see what's in there, and that's what's unique now. With
John Kelly said that about Richard or about whoever would be the suspect. I don't know if you guys followed we've had different waves of content throughout our journey in the Delphi community. We had the psychic wave, we had the spirit box wave, we had the criminal profiler wave. But I remember John Kelly saying that he probably lurks and stalks everything we do. He's in all the groups. He's watching everything on Reddit because we were the only ones putting out content on Delphi. So of course he was watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his profiling, on who he thought Bridge Guy would be or whoever is involved, even before we knew anything about Anthony Shots or Richard Allen, is so interesting to listen to now, because a lot of it makes sense for sure.
Well, and you know what? I mean, I will tell you one thing that I've learned as a creator coming in, because the reason that Paige and Mama Bear and I met was due to the fact of the Delphi case. Like, we were all watching other Delphi creators, and we just, became
We
friends.
saw the bullshit.
There, and
So
we're like, oh my
together.
God. And then they pressured me to go ahead and make a channel. And then,
No. Mama Bear pressured you. I won't complain. Glad they did.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was frustrated by the CSAM and the Yellow app stuff because nobody was covering that shit. And I was like, I just don't understand, because like I would hear, like male creators go, well, no, they wouldn't meet there. There wasn't no ID plan or whatever. Okay, first of all, unless you've been a teenage girl, you have no clue that. I'm going to be honest with you. Would you tell your parents that you were going to go meet a hot teenage boy? No.
I'll throw my hands up and say, like, this is why I feel like I connected with the Delphi case and Abby and Libby, because I remember being that age and remember the things I did that my family didn't know, and they thought I was somewhere else. I could have been harmed so many times and I wasn't. And Abby and Libby, all they did was went for a walk that day. No matter who they were communicating with, whatever happened, they weren't doing anything wrong. And this still happened to them. It's just devastating.
Yeah. Turbo, you need to drop a link. Or actually, Turbo quicker than you is probably Jinx. I'll tell you that. If I try to drop my own link, she's goddamn quicker than I am. Anybody else?
Yes.
I'll tell you right now. It's like,
Jinx is there.
I remember in the beginning of the case, that was what Ray Hughes called like a catfish nutter.
Jamie has a good channel and stuff too. Guys, check their channels out. Go in there. I appreciate the love. I mean, I'm not that big of a channel, but I didn't get into stuff that was kind of clickbait for people. You know what I mean? I don't do that kind of shit. I can bring what's in here and bring what truth I find. That's it. But, the other thing is, though, Jamie, with your question you were asking is, the defense, though, when they made that first press conference, they asked people, if you have any theories or other things, other people you think it is, contact us. They asked for it.
Person or persons involved many times.
The people from the Delphi Not Discord got in touch with them immediately after Richard Allen was arrested. I mean, they got the attorney's number off of the Ron Logan search warrant. I mean, they've literally been in cahoots with this guy with this defense team the entire time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a reason why certain things were pushed so heavily, like the antlers and certain things were pushed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and then that's when you go back to, did people realize that when and I think it's going to be interesting after the contempt hearing info comes out.
Same. Oh, I cannot wait.
I mean, because this is why I think that the reason Judge Gold decided not to was because, remember, they were accusing her of that she was going to embarrass them on camera and in front of everybody. So I think because they're having the contempt hearing, we thought, okay, well, you can't accuse me of doing that because I will make sure the cameras aren't in there. Not that we're not going to get reports out from it, because we will. But
she's getting criticized by these people for every damn thing she does, I swear.
I like what Ruckus just wrote.
Hello, Growing Crazy.
I know, he's trying to bait me right there.
Ruckus wrote that there's a few male creators that like teenage act like girls. That ain't no lie.
Yeah, there's a few out there that could know quite a few of our people that are out there too. I'm just saying.
Right?
I ain't going there. I'm not going.
No
hey, Ruckus, we'll let you come up here with all the females up here too. By the way.
Oh, come on, Ruckus.
We're not teenagers, Ruckus, but I know you weren't referring to yourself.
Take a link.
Like grown women. But I think that
Jinxie
I think
just dropped it.
I think that that is the reason. I think that after the contempt hearing comes out and all of the information in detail, but one of the big things that definitely hit everything and that I know I've shared with people is that they altered the crime scene.
Right.
Yeah, they were altered. Those pictures were altered. Like, what
And
does
it's
that
like,
mean?
do you remember? Like, I remember when that push came out, it was like all of a sudden, like, we're all supposed to pay attention to these antlers. And it's like, you know who, I mean, that'll tell you who was working behind the scenes with the defense.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, I want
Absolutely,
justice too, you know, but like, I'm not going to trust somebody that's in cahoots with a killer's defense team.
Well, exactly.
No.
Well, and let me tell you, there honest, and I'll be honest, there is just I'm just shocked by some who became who made themselves part of it, or who also is trying to make money off of it. And I'm just gonna call it out. I'm gonna call it out. I'm gonna do it. This is in my opinion. This doesn't reflect everybody in here, but I'm sorry. I really had a lot more respect and stuff, I thought, for Barbara McDonald at the beginning. And then,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like at the beginning, I thought, okay, she's legit. She's getting info. She's doing this, whatever. And then my opinion has kind of changed because I'm like, wait a minute. How do you write a book about a theory that you don't know because the case isn't over yet for?
Right. Well, I hope she has to scrap that book now. Thank you, Fig.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I think we made
no
a mistake
comment.
by not calling these people out in the beginning. Like, a lot of people in the Delphi community got a free pass, and you know, people just left them alone, and they continued to bash families and start the drafts for their books. But like, you know, some of us we were here before the views. We were here. We'll be here after the views. You know, we really do want justice for Abby and Libby.
Absolutely,
Amen.
Jamie.
Right.
And the truth, the actual truth.
The truth, yeah.
Yeah, and if anything comes out as rumor that is proven to be true, we are the people who will sit here and say, okay, now we know that's fact, so we can just include that in the timeline. We're not going to completely dismiss it, especially if we know it's fact. But until it's fact, you can't say it is.
Well, that's
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I don't, trust me, I don't mind. Everybody has their own theories. Everybody knows what my bias is with Klein. I've shared that openly. And when I talk about it, I share it. When I say something is in my opinion or speculation, I tell you. But when the rest of the time, you know, I'm showing facts, I'm showing you the sources where it came from and all that kind of stuff. But I will announce here, exclusive for all of you, I'm going to write a book. And my book is going to be...
Oh God, I remember the title you said. But
I want a chapter.
Wait a minute. What was I going to call the book page? Do you remember the quote I had? What was I calling the title?
Oh God.
Are you sure you want me to say it?
No, don't say it. Don't.
Oh, that's right.
I'm going to say, I don't think you want me to say it, but it's burned into my brain. I definitely remember it.
Basically, you know, the pieces of shit who lied and didn't tell the truth on YouTube about Delphi.
That was a nice way
my book.
Hey, I got receipts. I will send you anything like on my end that you might need for your book. A lot of people don't know that I've been in this community for a long time.
Right.
So like I know some things. I've sat back and watched a lot of things.
Up. You should partner up.
Everybody should have a chapter. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody should.
Say yes. Do I have a page limit for a chapter?
Oh God, Jinx will take the whole book. Jinx, wait a minute, we didn't get our chapters in yet.
I think all it needs to be called is the right side of Delphi, and we can point out all the fucking wrong ones too.
I know, but they spent all of their effort calling out other people when they try to tell the truth or try to bring light to the right stuff and talk about families who are going through the most horrific time in their lives.
Well, since I've been speaking up, I've been called everything but a child of God. I mean, it makes me feel like we're definitely hitting the nail somewhere, because the amount of backlash I received just from speaking about the fact that I know they were working with the defense has just been outrageous.
Yeah,
I mean,
why
so
are they so defensive,
a smaller
right?
channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my heart does break for you, Jamie. Honestly, I see some stuff.
You're doing God's work.
Ruckus said he can't come on because he's scared of women. Oh no, wait a minute.
Oh my God.
He said
No,
he can't come on at the
didn't.
moment. Maybe
He
next
didn't.
time.
Oh, well, Grismatically, that link is open for you too, Sugar.
Hey, Grit, come on up.
Oh,
I haven't seen you in a while.
no kidding.
Yes, you are welcome to come up to say what you think as we talk about, for those who
It's an open panel.
who are catching up with the filing today, with the defense sitting here saying that
Can't handle
they filed an early early hearing. So we look at that the hearing would be done by May. So it's going to be within 70 days. Oh my God.
That's funny, Ruckus. You only need a sentence.
Love you, Gris.
That's okay. That's okay. Good thing you only need a sentence because Jinx has the rest of the book, apparently.
Because, oh, he knows. He knows. Trust me.
Hey, don't blame Jinx. I would have invited you up here too. I've been inviting people as they go in there. So Jamie, what are your thoughts? Do you think that it was Richard Allen who pushed to again actually make them file the damn early trial that he wanted filed 2 months prior to the Supreme Court, and he pushed it? Or do you think the defense is in support of it, or what?
You know, I really could not tell you. I mean, with this defense team, everything seems like a strategy and a play. Like, why would they do that? Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm so overthinking that I can't even. What do you guys think?
Oh, I agree
Well,
with
yeah,
you.
it's been such a circus so far that it's hard to know what the hell their direction is. Like, what are they doing?
I mean, I hope it does. I mean, I feel like Nick is ready for it to go to trial. Like, I think Nick is ready.
Oh, yeah. I think he's been ready.
I mean, I get the
Yeah.
sense it's more Richard Allen pushing for it again, because they never filed it for him before.
Right.
I think it's for him he's pushing it again, and he wants to do it and just get it damn over with. You know what I mean? Because remember, the defense was already trying to argue or re-argue. Let me put that back in again. Re-delay stuff by arguing to get the judge dismissed again, right? She should be gone. Try to re-argue the same shit that they brought up all over again. And then they're sitting there arguing how much time they had to go through the huge. Here's the other thing. They talk about all this stuff, but yet they complain about, well, my God, we need more time because there's just a huge amount of evidence we have to go over in discovery. We just won't have enough time to get.
Or they don't get evidence, but it's like, dude, I would be reluctant to want to give them evidence too. They keep leaking it.
No doubt.
Amen.
I mean,
ongoing leak of information.
Like, if I was Nick, I'd be like, all right, buddy, but like, come on now.
And that's the bad thing, because what's holding back is that it's not like the prosecutor can't come out and say, although he did a little bit, right, pushing back on the Odinism thing, he kind of put his own little jab in it, talking back to them about why this is bullshit. When they were trying to argue, well, why don't you have the full interviews for the first interviews you did with these guys who you no longer figure out are suspects, right? You're like, well, wait a minute. They didn't think there were suspects anymore. That's why. They've interviewed probably thousands of people by now. There were over 70,000.
We already, I'm sure the cops needed help. Like, we sleuthed the hell out of those people years ago. Like, I'm sure if the cops needed anything, we'd have it for them too. Like, shit. I mean, we sleuthed the hell out of Brad and them.
I got a question, guys.
I'm surprised that the defense picked up that old theory.
So they're not letting the cameras in the court, right, for the one that's coming up. Now, are they going to let cameras in the court for the trial?
Yes.
I hope so.
They'll have to.
I'm just asking. What do you think?
I think the case is too big for it not to be on trial.
I think it'll probably be televised, honestly, but I don't know. Flip a coin. Who knows?
Will it be one
Right. How
station?
much time am I going to have to book off work? because I need to watch it.
And don't forget, you're 5 hours ahead, Paige. So.
Yeah, I know by now. I know that. God.
Oh my God.
Well, hell, just the whole goddamn town of Delphi is going to be off work.
Yeah, no kidding.
Including me over here in the UK.
Like the whole town of Delphi watches our stuff on YouTube too. And I was really concerned for a minute that this would taint a jury pool because it was like everywhere this Odinist crap.
Yeah,
Well,
but
and that's what the ploy was,
that
wasn't
bullshit.
It was to taint it. I mean, because let me tell you, the other thing about Indiana, when you have families that are originated from here by generations, they just don't stay even though a lot of them stay in that town, they don't just stay in that town. So there's other family members, like, for example, that you're not going to know are related, and this cousin from this cousin, and this was divorced, and this other cousin here. You're not going to know all that because there's tons of them in Allen County.
Yep.
There are tons of other people in Allen County, Delphi connected.
Absolutely.
So when you have that, then you've got to worry, you got to pray that you have somebody, honestly, that you have a jury person that doesn't try to be a jury person for the same reason that some YouTubers are YouTubers, right? They're only serving a jury. They're going to lie they know about the case. They're going to lie about that they've heard about it, and they're going to go on it for they can try to write the book after they're a juror on the Delphi case.
It just makes me sick, man. So, it's like I don't want the legacy about the girls to turn into some Odinist crap when I think the legacy should be about these shady apps and keeping our kids safer online. And
yeah, 100%, Jamie.
I hate that it gets taken away from that, but I love that you ladies bring awareness to it every time you're live. These apps, man. That Yubo, the Yellow, Snapchat. I remember what got me into Delphi right around the same time. A little girl from my town was lured from that Marco Polo, Naomi Jones, and was murdered. And it just, I want the awareness to be about that, and let's keep our kids safe and not some Odinist weirdos that like to confess to crimes because there's been so much of that attracted to this case.
Right.
I mean, we had that good golly Miss Smalley. Do you guys remember her from the Delphi community? She killed her son and tried to kill her husband.
Oh, yeah. I remember about that.
She was reaching out to that Profiling Evil channel behind the scenes, and it just played out in the court system. But instead of using it for clout for his channel, he helped the police and shut the fuck up about it. And he's talking about it now because it's just played out through court. But I remember her from around in the beginning of the Delphi case. She was just, so many people are like not stable that are attracted to this case. But I just hope that it gets back to the right thing, and let's make ball fields and bring awareness to, such a situation like child trafficking and all these different things. And that's what it should be about, in my opinion.
Well, and you know what's scary? And unfortunately, it is a trend in CSAM no matter what, which, by the way, if you don't know what that is, it is also child pornography for anybody who doesn't know that. But NetMec has changed what you call that because they want it to be named what it actually is, which is child sexual abuse material.
Yeah, because these kids don't sign up to be porn stars, they're little kids.
Exactly. So that's why they don't want it in there. But the trend is that a lot of these guys, right? You're talking Keegan, you're talking the Logan Lorman, you're talking Brent Eastman. One, if you notice, a lot of these guys that are being busted are very, very young. If you notice, way younger, right? Normally, you're thinking a 30-year-old man, and then you've got a 21-year-old and a 20-year-old who sit there and get that, right? Well, the bad thing about this is you've got the trend that's going on of babies and toddlers, and that's what these guys all have.
And you think they're just trying to out sicko each other? Like, see, that's why I hate, this whole like little group started out of Keegan in his Dropbox, but look now it's escalated to murders. You know, it's like people don't realize you can't unsee certain things, and I wonder if they regret letting Richard Allen into the ring.
Well, I definitely know they'd
Yeah.
regret having Keegan Klein in the ring. I'm
Ooh,
sure he's
right?
a low man. You know what I mean? You got to think. I mean, the problem is that and I did a video. If you guys, anybody who's new out there, I have a video that talks about an international child petty ring that was going on in Indiana in the past, and
Yes.
why that meant a lot, because the Indiana State Police did tell Keegan Klein that he was opening up the largest investigation in Indiana history. So knowing about that old one, I was like, well, shit, let me tell you guys about this one. The way you moved up in the ranks was by the younger and younger the victim that you had. And also it is because of it showing torture.
Yeah, and you have to
So-
share. Didn't okay, the guy from 19 Kids and Counting, Joshua Duggar, he got popped, and he had that really bad stuff, the aggravating factors on his too.
Yep.
That's terrible. God, it just makes me sick.
It is. And unfortunately, you know, when you talk about the other type of CSAM, people have to educate not only their girls, but also the boys. Okay. Boys can be victims as well. They are a growing thing, a victim for CSAM, because these people will pretend that they're girls, and that's how they get the images and stuff from the boys. And the other thing you have to educate your kids on, period, is, you know, if you've got a boy, you need to let him know if he's sitting here getting images from a girl, whether he requested them or not, he needs to make sure he doesn't have that shit. And he better make sure he doesn't send that to anybody else. And as soon as he turns 18, if he has that stuff, guess what? He's an adult still with CSAM.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And he's going to go down for it. And I think that there's
sorting is one of the biggest problems right now. Is like, you know, kids will make a mistake and show their breasts or whatever, and then they end up getting sextorted into giving away even more riskier things, and then they're over their head, you know, with the blackmail and the threats.
Well, and they get scared to tell their parents. So, you know, that's just like the ones. So a lot of these CSAM people, and that's the reason why I thought that that Abby and Libby could have been CSAM related. They do go meet your kids somewhere, and the kids don't realize that it's an adult till they get there. And then they get sexually assaulted. And what do? They don't tell their parents because they blame themselves. They think it's their fault. You know, they're like, oh, well, they told me not to be on this, and I was talking to this person, and, you know, and then I met this person thinking it was somebody else, and then they get sexually assaulted. They don't want to tell their parents that happened.
I know for dads it can be hard, because a lot of dads, you know, like for instance, when I was growing up, I would kill anybody that ever harmed you. I would cut their throat if somebody ever touched you, and then something happens to where you are harmed. And then it can be hard to tell dad, because you don't want dad to go to jail for murder. So if any guys are watching, like if you have daughters, don't threaten the violence if something ever happens to your child, because you want your child to be like, Dad, something happened to me today. But you don't want to do that if you think dad's going to go murder somebody and go to prison.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So guys, listen up.
And honestly, I think that the other lesson, and I'm just gonna say this, and I know, you know, this is my opinion, and maybe I say this and you guys think it too in there. Here's the thing. This is the lesson that I think it teaches everybody. Don't trust a goddamn person with your kids. I don't care who they are.
I don't care if you're a single woman and need a babysitter or whatever. Like, there's just too many things that can harm your children nowadays. Too many people.
Yep. I mean, you think about it, teachers, coaches, all kinds of stuff. And that's, you know, the ones that I dropped about the guy from South Bend. He was a resource officer for a school, and he was a basketball coach.
Yeah.
After Keegan, remember when Keegan in the Dropbox, when people first started getting popped, wasn't one of the first people that went down was a cop? It happened and Carol, it was like right after, we all found out about Keegan, like we started noticing charges of people that had the Dropbox. And I want to say there was a cop, there might have been a teacher. Like, these people are everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
Turbo,
it's
I heard the
scary.
same thing from I've had some stuff but not able to confirm it, but I did hear that Richard Allen was into
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how to officially got
The worst two terms I've ever heard put
Yes.
together.
yeah, it's just like
HP.
yeah, horror porn.
Horrible.
It's I just can't stop shaking
And
my
I'm
head.
sorry, but for anyone else, like, only certain things come to mind with that, and it's
Hello, welcome.
It's like, yeah, disgusting.
Well, and even if he doesn't have, you would think after all these years, he would not have anything that is going to, of certain things, that is not going to be, maybe the items that was said taken from the kids. So if you've got that going, nothing that's there, maybe he got rid of that so he wasn't caught with it. But if that's somebody who's looking at CSAM or looking at children being tortured and stuff, he hasn't gone that many years without looking at stuff ever again.
Right.
So if he has it on their devices, on his computers, on that kind of stuff, they're going to find it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was surprised when they finally went and got him, for sure.
It just makes me think of like BTK and how everybody thought he was this amazing man and father and person in the community, and little did everyone know all the disgusting dark secrets he had actually hid from everyone. Like, that's what it makes me feel like.
Do you
If
guys
look
get
at all
vibes
so many of the serial
Richard Allen
killers?
in his little garage? Like, I sort of get those same vibes from Richard Allen. Like, he had his little secret garage back there where he did all of his dirty deeds.
Well, yeah, and I thought it was interesting too when they like very specifically were saying what items were taken from the garage itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When they had the list of the inventory and they said, okay, this knife was taken from here and this was taken from here. And then obviously, the big thing is that you see where they acknowledge where an officer and a which officer gets the water bottle he was drinking out of and puts it in a bag in order for him to get his DNA.
And why do you keep a bullet in a little box too, separate from everything else?
I also wondered, like, why would you have so many different types of knives, like, scattered in different locations of your home and outside? It's like, it's not like if he collected them, wouldn't he take better care of them? Like, I just don't know what they were all used for.
Display them. Usually you
like,
display them.
what were they all for?
You can have them everywhere like that too. I don't know. It could just, but it is definitely something to consider.
So, Jamie, do you think that he was a lone actor, meaning at the scene, or do you think there's a chance that somebody else was there?
I have tried to think that, but I really do. I can't it's like how you can't unsee stuff. That whole Keegan Klein thing is just way too much to unsee. Like, to me, my brain says it has to be connected somehow, whether it is just by that account and somehow, maybe Richard Allen made a clone of that account and was like, well, I know my homeboys over here are, catfishing these girls. I'll make another account of it. But to me, it has to be related somehow.
Agreed.
Well, when you read the stuff that talks about that stuff is getting forwarded to Keegan off of Emily Ann's talking about, oh, would you like to have, sex with my dad? And would you do it with a 40-year-old, right? Which, is
I believe
bad.
TK is totally involved.
Yeah.
That Poshmark account is totally suspicious.
Yep.
And from Keegan's account, his dad did sleep with Keegan's friend who would have been underage.
Exactly.
Right. When he was in his 40s. And he brings that up. I mean, and here's the thing, I don't want to, and I guess I don't have empathy for Keegan Klein, the man, but I do have a little bit of empathy, a small bit of empathy for Keegan Klein, the kid.
Yeah, me too.
Because he was left to be raised by Tony, who by, even Keegan's own account talks about that he was an alcoholic, he was abusive to him, he
Yeah.
held a gun to the family. They bring up about what he did to his mom, his stepbrother and sister,
Yeah.
the way he horrified them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you hear all that stuff, and I'm sorry, when you think about a profile of somebody who treats women and stuff like that, and children
Yeah.
like that, and animals, for God's sakes, then you're like, well,
God.
shit, that
Yeah.
is somebody who would do something to hurt people.
Just the accounts from Keegan's stepbrother and sister that obviously the murder sheet covered, where they kind of spoke out about how Tony Klein would behave with them and the way he would control them. I'm pretty sure the stepdaughter said that he would make her put his shoes and socks on for him all the time. They had to ask permission if they needed a drink or needed the toilet. He would kind of hunt her down and chase her down, like
a dog.
He injured her many times, and obviously what he did to his stepson, and the fact that law enforcement mentioned that to Keegan, it's just, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he
I
did
think
bring
that he
up
was-
finally during his sentencing that he was molested as a child, which, to be honest, then it makes me wonder about that, because then you're like, okay, well, who was it that molested him?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where did that
say
happen?
that.
How did that happen?
Mm-mm. He never revealed that either. Who
See, that's
abused
what
him.
happens when these family generational curses. It just, I mean, the internet really, I don't know. I believe the grandpa had some stuff to do with that too, but that's all alleged.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. We don't know who did that. I mean, and honestly, if his dad did have friends who were looking at CSAM, then who could have he been left around that something happened to him? Or God forbid, a neighbor or somebody else. Because if he's hanging with, the same type of people flock together, right?
Right.
Yeah, birds of a feather.
Well, if you don't break the cycle, the cycle will continue. I mean, that's just reality.
And it seems like it just gets worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like that. I keep having this sense that Richard Allen, that this was the first time that he ever tried to do something, just because of the slip ups that he had, right? Like, I just feel like he was seen, the way he parked, the way he's rushing over there, all this kind of stuff. Like, I feel like he wasn't.
Even if he fantasized about this type of thing for a very long time, like if we are to believe the kind of horror porn thing is true, sorry, I know it's horrible to hear that. It's possible there would actually be a trail of information, maybe on his devices or other places that he has kind of kept over time in regards to what he fantasizes about. So even if they find anything like that is similar to what happened to Abby and Libby, that again would be all they would need really there.
Yeah.
I know we have some of Keegan's searches, which was, Sandy Hook victims' dead bodies, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well,
who knows
and
what
think
they
about
found
this.
on Richard's stuff.
So you also have to think about that somebody, the reason you kind of think that there's multiple people who are also using Anthony's shots is who sits there and has this happen, and then a couple of days later, unless they think it wasn't me in the picture that they got on the bridge, right? So I can go turn around and get an address from somebody and be a peeping Tom out a girl's freaking window.
Yeah, and that voice isn't me either, It's bridge guy, which isn't me.
Plus, I mean, they pick them up. What do they delete? They delete the dates that's on there. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we can go backwards and say if, but if right when they got them right when they got home, they didn't have a chance to do anything. And if they would have got that one phone that Keegan Klein didn't have, I think this case would have been solved right away.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because they could have told exactly in the Anthony Shots part of what was communicating back and forth with Libby at the time. And I think that the iPhone 5C that he deleted a bunch of info from, that they charged him, I think that would have answered the questions right away.
I agree with that. It's just hard for me to think Richard Allen. I mean, I want to think he's the lone wolf, but it's like when you just factor in all this other suspiciousness, it's like, how can it not be related?
Mm-hmm. Well, why would Keegan Klein look up DNA and how long it lasts?
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
And replay the audio and everything of Bridge Guy, but then the Anthony Shots account was messaging Libby after she was murdered.
Yep.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Well, and also messaging a bunch of her friends that knew she was going to try to meet him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To try to repeatedly say, "Oh, I was gonna meet." She didn't show up. She didn't show up there. I mean, that. Oh my God, that is the stupidest response. I mean, you just come on. It was like that Anthony Shots was trying to create alibi for Anthony Shots.
Yeah.
Oh, I was, but she was gonna meet me, but nope, she didn't show up. She wasn't there.
Mm.
And that profile was the last person that talked to Libby. So to me, you just can't get past that. I'm sorry.
And to me, the police knowing that there was more than one person accessing that Anthony Shots account, because everybody has their own like way of typing and their own. What am I trying to say?
It's like a language.
Like linguistics or however you say that word. But yeah, I mean, the cops knew that there's more than one person using that account. And we all know that that account was for like the worst humanly possible activities. I mean, that account was not created for anything good. Mm-hmm. And so other people are using it. It makes me think others, of course, it's got to be.
And I've heard of cases before where like CSAM is obviously shared on the dark web and things. I don't know a lot about that and how it works. But then I've heard you can actually buy accounts or like buy shares of an account. I don't know how it works. And it's like people can get access to it then.
Well, and then you've got also where Keegan Klein also Googled the Marathon gas station in Delphi.
Right.
Why?
Like,
right? I mean, it's on the same day. It just happens. He wasn't going
anywhere. And he never goes to Delphi except for one time.
He's not involved. Like, that is some serious unluckiness. Like, it just, to me,
right? Yeah.
Nobody's that unlucky.
Of course. You could say once, maybe.
Right.
How many times?
It wasn't because they were out of Snickers in goddamn Peru, okay?
It all let a lot of things go, but it's just too many things. Way too many.
Oh my God.
I mean, it just does not make any sense. And remember, the only people who the alibis for Keegan Klein is Tony Klein and vice versa.
Yeah.
And you know how I know we're on to the truth? Because every time we tweet about it and every time we share it, the trolls, the defense daddy trolls come out of the fucking woodwork. So it's like, I know we have to be on to something.
They can't have the truth being shared because it goes against what they're trying to push.
Oh, it freaks them out.
Yeah, and look at us not being defensive, just showing people what is out there that is fact.
Well, I have to say that's one of the reasons why JSD isn't monetized, because she wants to be able to speak her
I'm
feelings.
not monetized either, JSD, guys. Like I've had 6,000 subs forever. I just don't want to be monetized, I guess, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm going to start a new program, Jamie. You may want to get on it. You know how they have that buy a coffee?
Yes.
I'm going to have the buy a Big Mac, right? So mine's going to be buy a Big Mac.
Right.
Because McDonald's is expensive, man. That shit ain't cheap anymore.
A Big Mac combo meal is what, like $10?
Oh, well, yeah. A combo meal, at least, if not more.
Well, we were looking at these sheets, Jamie, and it was $1 a page, and we're like, Oh my God. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
there's downsides to not be demonetized.
There is, but you know what? People would rather support the authentic people. I mean, put your little buy me a coffee or your PayPal. You know, people would love to support to help you guys get the documents to read out loud. I love Paige's reading voice. I mean, your little community will support
That
you in
time
that.
when
And
JSD
then you
made me
forget
read.
about it because you're not getting it off the back of like, you know, victims. I mean, it's totally okay in these communities to ask for a little bit, but like some people take it way too far with their book deals and their bullshit.
Yeah. And you know what?
We all come from different.
There's other people who, you know, they do hard work too. I know this stuff isn't cheap. Trust me. I got the StreamYard. I got all the shit to try to look up everything, but you know, and to their own, they do their work, and there are people who support them and stuff. And if that's the direction they go, that's fine. But you know, I'm trying to help other families and get information out and do. I mean, the one thing I will say and argue this point, I find stuff so amazing that there's this information though is supposed to be public information, and then you try to get public information and they want you to pay, you know, to get the documents. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Right? And some of the document pages are blank.
Yeah, they're redacted.
Well, to quote Mitch Westerman, I don't need the paper it's on to own the paper it's on. You're just sending it to me electronically, right? So I don't need the paperwork on that shit.
Hey, since you brought up Westerman really quick, they just moved he just moved back to the 25th. You know how we said that he had gotten moved back earlier, his trial?
Right.
Now it's June 25th. So that's the 25th of June. So that would be after Richard Allen.
Yes.
If they do the speedy and do it in May for Richard Allen.
I wonder if Mitch is talking.
That would be lovely.
Do you think they want to go to trial before they get outed for being a bunch of scumbags? Did I say that out loud?
Speak your mind, Jamie. Go, girl.
No matter what, that contempt hearing is happening. So whether you like
I
it or
want
not,
it to happen too. All them people that called me a bunch of crazy ladies and Burger King workers and trolled my entire life telling me I was lying can all go fuck themselves.
Right? Sideways, okay? Sideways.
I'm gonna try to pull up a graphic for that. Hold on. No, never mind. I'm not gonna do that.
Don't get me started laughing. You know my laugh, guys. Don't get me started. I won't stop. Oh my God. Oh,
Jamie,
I must have been on to something.
Did you see the video that I was gonna do for Keegan Klein? Did you see that?
Not yet.
You didn't see it?
Is it on your community page?
No, I didn't show it. It was what I was gonna do. Hold on, I'm gonna share it for everybody who missed it earlier. I was gonna make a video to encourage Keegan Klein to talk and give up what he knows. And so I had to pick a clip, right?
Talk, oh my gosh. Oh my God. I love it.
Poor Chunk.
What was his name? Julius?
Chunk.
Hey, kid.
Oh man.
Why don't you spill your guts? Tell us everything.
Tell us everything.
Everything.
Everything. Okay, I'll stop.
Hey, kid. Why don't you spill your guts? Tell us everything.
See, I was gonna put a Keegan Klein face right over that.
Everything.
You should totally do that.
Okay, I'll stop.
Oh my God.
I think it would be awesome. I mean, the other one I talked to, because I'm not good at making the short shit. I can't figure that shit out, right? So if Grismatically isn't still in here, I need to figure out how to do that shit right? But because the other one we were thinking of is, because I was just talking to Paige about it. It's like, here's one. I want to do one that starts what would you do for a Klondike bar? And then we'd have his face and he would be talking and jabbing like a jib jab mouth right after that. Klondike bar.
Right? Oh my God.
How funny would that be? Jinx could probably help you on that.
I mean, I have great ideas. I just don't know how to get the shit right when I do it. So I'm just saying.
Jinx, she needs
Not
you, honey.
I don't have any skills, but I know people who got skills. So yeah, you
Oh, she knows people who knows people.
I know people who got some skills. It's awesome, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's hilarious.
I got friends in Lord.
Yeah, Chris, what happened to you coming up
Yeah,
here, Chris?
right.
We want to hear your theories over here.
Yeah, you got the clips. Send the clips.
Yeah,
Chris is like, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, I sat here and tried to create the thing using StreamYard to do these shorts, and I made the thing vertical, and I did it like even freaking like 37 goddamn seconds, and the son of a bitch still didn't show up as a short, so I know I did something wrong. Like, God dang it.
I
I still categorize it as a short. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I got some funny shit. I just don't want to show my face. You guys don't want to see my face. Because I'd be like, God. You know, get so angry. You just don't want to see me that way. Just saying.
We couldn't show our faces. That's the problem. That's why we have icons, because I'd be like looking up at the sky, like, what the fuck, you know?
I have a permanent frown.
Yeah, it just wouldn't
and
be
I roll my eyes a hell of a lot.
Oh, I'd constantly be rolling my eyes, and oh my God, would not be a good, not good.
So I'm trying to make sure I pronounce this name right. Is it?
Jinx probably knows.
What's this name? Jinx.
Jinx. Mirror.
Thank you. A person that suffered. I don't know if it's a girl or a guy. But suffered at the hands of sexual abuse, and here to tell you that it really does mess up a person.
Yeah,
and they're pretty well rounded, but it takes a long time. It does.
It does.
It does. I'm sorry about that for you. Yes. And that's the thing, is trying to protect these other kids from that kind of shit. You know, we gotta do that for her. Who else is going to stand up for them? You know,
not many.
And parents got to be aware about these apps and all this shady ass shit that goes online. Yes.
But the thing is, the CSAM stuff doesn't get a lot of coverage, Jamie. That's the problem. But and that's Justice's, you know, passion. Not because we sit here and love this stuff. We don't. It's sickening. You know?
No. I mean, I have stuff that I've read it that I'm like, you know, it's horrible. Like, I will say that the one I'm going to drop about Keegan Klein stuff, it does tell some details that the Indiana Attorney General mentions and brings up stuff and says some ages. And you'll hear me kind of pause and stuff when there, and some things I won't even say, but you can see it on screen. It's not because I won't like to hear it or whatever. I'm trying to protect you, your family, your kids, your nieces, anybody, any child from having this happen.
And you probably already have, in a way, because so many people were new to this Delphi case, and they've come to YouTube and were completely unaware of a lot of these things. And now there is more awareness. So you are doing something, even if you don't think you are. I mean, you are.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I appreciate that. Well, and I cover a lot of people like before they even show up on the registry, right? I cover them right when they get arrested, right when they get charged. And I have had some people watch a CSAM show that I do about the latest to get busted. And a lady afterwards, when she saw the screen, she told me she took a picture of the screen because there was a family friend on there that she did not know had been arrested for it. And that person had been around the family, her kids, and knew everybody. And so, for having
that's scary.
Yeah. I mean, just helping one person is enough, I mean, this world is scary, and especially these apps and our kids, and these monsters are everywhere, and now we've shown a light a little bit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we have to help encourage somebody that if you are a victim or were a victim, about standing up and speaking because you're not alone. That is the other thing I've covered, how you use the NetMec and to file a report for somebody who has CSAM, how you can stay anonymous, or you can give them your info, how you can, make sure that you block them, but take screenshots of this. You find out from your kid that's in there, they want to take screenshots of everything. If they're in immediate danger, you want to call 911 if they're trying to meet with them. But if they know somebody's in there, or if it's, somebody being molested or anything like that, those all can be reported on the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. And I have a video, and I named it that video in honor of Abby and Libby, because I really believe that is what her legacy is going to be. That she brought this forward of how she's talking to somebody she believes is a teenage boy.
Yeah.
And it turns out that this Anthony Schatz was never a teenage boy talking to her.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that is not her fault. And that is not your kid's fault if that happens to them. It's none of that. They don't realize that they're being tricked from that. And they're being tricked that it's either a girl or a boy online. That's why they used Emily Ann. They were making these girls think they were talking to another girl.
It's like the modern way now that pedophiles get access to children. Like back in the day before the internet, they'd have to go and physically take one, like just off the streets, Maybe they did follow and stalk one for a little while, or it could have been someone in a school or church, but it was a different way. And now kids are so accessible. It's just terrifying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, that I think that stuff's important. I want to try to help anybody.
And we need to keep pushing this to the forefront. And I'm so proud of you ladies for doing that, because a lot of people, have forgotten, what this legacy is going to be about. And they've tried to change it to Ron Logan and writing books and bullshit. But it really should be about awareness and keeping our kids safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think what we need to all focus on is that the filing today, I think, is good news for the family. And I think it is good news for the Delphi community, because this means that the trial is going to be done earlier. It was filed, whether just by Richard Allen's wishes alone, it was filed to get it over with.
Yes.
And who knows, maybe he did that for it would push along, and maybe he's going to try it. I suspect he's going to want a plea deal. I think he wants murder one off the table. I think he would take a plea deal if they offer it to him. I think he can see the writing on the wall if there's a lot of evidence there. And if that happens, my God,
it can happen. A hold of her behind the scenes, Kathy.
Yeah.
They should stop doing that too, and giving her false hope.
Exactly. And you know what? And just like if I'm wrong and then there's nothing else found of it, because I just feel like there could be somebody else at the crime scene. Because here's my question when I think about it, and you guys can help me with it in the chat too. So he brought a gun and a knife and a rope, and he decided to take the two girls down here. This happened to the two girls. Because my thought in my head was, okay, maybe they were fighting, to fight back because, he's getting, her to undress, whatever it is. And then she hits the gun. The gun falls to the ground between them, and the bullet falls out. Right. So that's how the bullet maybe gets out. This is just a guess. I'm just guessing. I'm not saying I know. But if that happens, then he also has a knife, and then he pulls out this knife, or is there somebody else there and they actually have the knife to do it?
Right.
Or is there more than one knife that was used, depending on the type of wounds the girls sustained?
Exactly.
Right.
But definitely, would someone bring more than one knife as well? Probably not.
Yeah, I see, JK. That's what I think. That's why I think that the prosecutor's reason to adding first-degree murder to it, which would add the death penalty, which would be death penalty worthy, was thrown on the table in addition to that felony murders and the kidnapping, because he could plead down the first-degree murders and just have it the felony murders and the kidnapping, and then for them to take the death penalty off the table. I think they use that to kind of negotiate that. I mean, that's my guess. And if that's the case, hell, maybe the trial won't even happen and it would be done even before May. But the good news to the family, to the Delphi community, is we can find out the answers and the truth at least by May. Whether, now whether he's, pleads or he goes to trial and we find out if he's found guilty or not guilty. I mean, eventually then that evidence is going to come out. And we're going to find out, this is what we need to find out. Everybody wants to listen, what I like to call half the Dateline show, right? You go watch Dateline, at the beginning of the show, the whole goddamn time they're making you think it's this person.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, it's this person. They did it. They had this, whatever, right? You get to the middle of the damn show, and then suddenly they start telling you something totally different.
Yeah,
well,
they
now
introduce
when you get the rest of the details. Yeah, they
the
tell you the
truth?
rest of the details, and now you're wait a minute. Well, I didn't know that before. So now I think it's this person. And everybody's trying to call who did it with only watching the first half of Dateline.
Right.
You haven't heard what the prosecution has yet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think it's one way, and what if the prosecution comes out to these people who don't believe it and say, we found his DNA on them? And what if they say, we found their DNA in the trunk of his car? Then what?
Then what? Yeah, for real.
Are those people, if and any of us should be, because trust me, if I am wrong, I will come back and I will say, you know what, shit, I blew that, my theory, my opinion, my direction I was leaning. I will come and tell you if I'm wrong. I will admit that wholeheartedly and say it. But these other people didn't tell you it's a theory, or it's just in their opinion, or it's just this. Some of them are telling you like it's right there, and that they're not showing you. If they don't show you the damn evidence of where they got what they say, then why do you believe that?
Yeah, and when you ask them for the evidence or a source or anything, they get so argumentative with you and act as if you're the dumb one for not knowing this. And I'm like,
so rough. There's not many safe chats left, and I appreciate you guys keeping a safe chat. Because, like, I mean, these people that were clicked up with the defense, I mean, you can't have an opinion that Richard Allen might have some explaining to do without being like called all kind of worst persons in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll make you think like you want to murder Richard Allen. Like we're just the worst people in the fucking planet for
I don't
thinking that he
understand
has some explaining to do.
how anyone can definitively say that they believe Richard Allen is 100% innocent, because we don't know that. Like, where are you getting that from?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
based
Well,
on what we
that
have.
doesn't mean we're like heartless people that want to see him suffer either until he's been tried and convicted.
Exactly. Like let's say the trial happens and we all find out details that come out of it. And let's say that, I'll even throw this out there. Let's say the only thing, even though there's witnesses and shit, so I'll have to pretend I didn't hear that. And I'll have to pretend he didn't confess to his wife and his mother. But anyway, let's pretend none of that happened. And then let's say it was only the bullet. And they said, oh, it's the bullet and we think it's this and that's it. And that's all there is. And there's nothing else. Then I would sit here and go, you know what, guys, that is kind of weird. They don't have anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Then what does the jury say? I agree with that. But I can't say that he's innocent when I don't know what they have. I don't know all they have. I can say it's awful suspicious of him confirming witnesses, him confirming the time he was there with Dan Dolan, right? Him doing all, saying what he was wearing. Why, yes, I was wearing what the bridge guy was wearing. Why, yes, I was parked at the building that you were asking about that car, which we had heard way early about that car, right? We heard way early about that
entire interviews either. Like, what else did he and Kathy say in those separate interviews that we don't know?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I mean, people think like, you know, we have all the evidence already. Well, we don't. And we shouldn't. They've got to save this for trial. Yeah.
Well, the people that are saying that are all people that work with the defense behind the scenes that don't want to say that's what their motivation for. I mean, it is ruthless. If you don't have the opinion that Richard Allen is innocent, if you try to go in other chats with just a disagreeing opinion or anywhere for that matter, I mean, it is
don't want to.
Yeah, these defense daddy trolls they're the most.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I want to be open to whatever and to hear whatever theories and stuff like that. We don't let people come and attack and do that stuff to people over here. We don't get into that. We don't call out other, you know, channels and stuff like that. You know, be what you want to be. Your people who follow you will be what they want to be.
But
you know, whatever you want to do.
You are harming this case, but there we are.
Yeah, and all I can say is that
credibility is all you have, though, JSD, and like, when all this is said and done and the trial is over, like, people are going to remember the channels that stayed true and always cared about the truth. Like, that's going to be what stands out. It may not stand out today, but one day, like, your channel's going to stand out.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And I just
don't want so hard.
If I don't have the enough evidence to say it in the channel, I just don't bring it forward. I keep it. Trust me, there's so much research in there you can't even believe it. You can't even believe it. There is so much stuff.
Oh my God.
And then, you know, just like I'm not going to call out other family members when, you know, like I said before, some family members can't help if they're related to a piece of shit.
You're right.
Or they know someone, or they're on their friends list, or anything.
Yep.
Absolutely. Oh, like family members that were on the CW? Yeah. Sorry. What?
That CW
oh my God. Is that, I mean...
Why they didn't let Gray would have owned everybody with his damn Richard. What? I feel like they only included Gray just to be like, see, we included everybody, but like they didn't let Gray talk. Like, Gray would have owned them with his Richard Allen theory. Like, you know, he got what, 10 seconds? But they did have a very good stylist for the CW.
Paige
well,
Campbell.
you know,
Everybody looks amazing.
I think that I'm in the UK and I don't get to watch that. I can't view it.
You know what happened is that Gray was probably on the show, and somebody asked him a question and said, well, don't you think it's possible that it could be this Odinist whatever? And then Gray's reply was, well, if you think it's this Odinist thing whatever, then you're just a piece of shit. And so then they stopped recording right then. That's what happened. Is right after that.
I feel like it was a failed activist that put that documentary together. I mean, it was the people from the Delphi Knot were all included, and the only person that had an opposing opinion was Gray, which they didn't really let have an opinion. But I noticed these are the same people that were like, see, they even included Gray. It wasn't biased. That was totally bought and paid for by the defense team.
Yeah.
Worthless. Waste of time, that documentary.
Yeah, CJK, his common words were probably, well, if you believe that, you need to unsubscribe. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on a TV interview. You should unsubscribe from me right now.
He used to call me a cat. Like, Gray, in the very beginning of this case, I didn't used to go into Gray's because he called me like a catfish nutter. And I'm like, well, here we are, Gray. Here we fucking are.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know you've been in Delphi too long.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? If you've watched, Gray before, you just prepare
I just
yourself
love Gray. I
mentally.
hate him, but I love him.
Yeah, same thing. It is a love-hate relationship, right? It's hilarious because you're
I'm
like,
a
wow, you're watching and the only thing you're happy for is that if he's calling out somebody else and it's not you.
Right. Well, see, in the very beginning, it was so against catfish theory. Like you were not popular if you had catfish theory in the very
Yeah, I
beginning of this
wasn't.
case.
I
Like,
was not a very popular person thinking
I
that.
wasn't either. I was called a catfish nutter by Gray. I was like, all right, fuck it. That's when I didn't like, because I didn't get behind the scenes with a bunch of people in the Delphi case, even though I followed it for a long time, guys. And my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend is who was in that Discord with the Delphi Knot, who was helping the defense. That's how I know it fucking happened. Because my ex-boyfriend was helping them.
Wow.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we didn't live together. We lived separate. Like we live in the same town. So we would text each other messages all the time and he would tell me things. And I remember going through our messages and seeing where he's like, oh my God, we just got a hold of Ron Logan, or we got the attorney's name off the Ron Logan search warrant. It's like, okay, you guys are. So why do we want to all jump on this bandwagon with this Odinist crap by defense attorneys that just want to win a case?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just tired today.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I get that. I mean, I had somebody who, argued the fact with me of like, well, the argument came back and said to me that, well, it was against the law what McLeland did by finding out what the defense team's strategy was by doing the search warrant on Mitch Westerman. And I'm like, okay, well, no, it wasn't. I was like, first of all, what Mitch Westerman did was criminal because it was protected evidence and he got it and took it. Although I feel like they knew he was doing that.
I don't even think the Woodhouse thing was an accident. That whole I meant to type in
no.
Like it's all going to come out, y'all.
And I think the other part of that is that I also, they were like, I said, they didn't have to go steal that because they knew what the theory was, because even before that happened, they released what it was when they filed the Franks hearing.
Right.
And it was like, well, they were supposed to do it. No, they weren't. And I had to define what the Franks hearing was. It's like, no, the Franks hearing is to argue that the police did not have probable cause to do the search warrant. So the search warrant should be thrown out and everything that's in it. The extra 100 freaking pages were about the Odinism thing, which had nothing to do with the Franks hearing, that they added to get around the gag order and to get it out to the public and who they thought was that did it. And who they were going to blame who did it.
Yeah, that was their strategy. And they got a lot of people to help them. I mean, behind the scenes, like, Christina Randall, and I can name so many people that they've got to push that crap for them.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean,
we have the truth on our side, guys.
News. We're going to celebrate when this case is over. I'm just saying, there's got to be drinks that happen when this all goes down. But
I'm giving Aunt Franny a whole new spa treatment. I feel so bad for Fran. I mean, those trolls run her into the ground so bad. And Nicholas McLeland too. I mean, they just run those people into the ground.
Yeah.
And I don't know any of them, just so you know. Like, I don't work for the family. I don't know any of those people.
Yep. Well,
I just somehow found my way into this dumpster fire community.
So as we I want to thank the panel, all the panel, for jumping up here last minute. They didn't even, everybody just jumped up here real quickly. This was just kind of a figure out what's going on and stuff like that. I want to thank the chat and stuff for coming in. And I thank you guys for coming in. And like I said, sharing your theories and stuff in there. We don't mind that. We just don't want, we don't call out other channels. They're not rude to people. We don't blame the families. We don't do that stuff. We just want stuff that we can show you with truth and fact. Tonight will be the drop of the show about the Keegan Klein appeal. You'll want to watch that stuff. But as we go, as each one of you leave, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'll have each one of you answer it right before you leave. And so I'm going to start, Jamie, with you.
Sure.
Jamie,
Tess.
is he going to go to trial in May, or you think he'll plead out?
If his attorneys had their way, they're going to take it to trial, but I hope that he does the right thing and he pleads out and says what he knows.
Okay.
I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yep. Jinx. Okay. Mama Bear.
I'm there too.
Paige.
Yep. Same from me. I mean, that's what I hope for.
My guess is, since he was the one who tried to get the early trial before, and he probably asked them to file it again, because I don't think they would be ready, because now they can't ask for an extension, right? Because they filed the actual quick trial, so now it's they can't do extension after that. So I think that I have a feeling he just wants it over with, and I think the defense may have not been ready if they went to full trial. I think he's going to try to plea. I think they're going to offer him a deal now. And I think they're going to try to sit here and plead that out. But, yeah. So, but hey, I mean, Jamie, nice to officially meet you, right? Haven't met you
I
since
just
you
adore
met
you,
and
lady.
stuff.
Yes.
So I appreciate you jumping up here, and
Thank you.
nice to
Peace and
talk
love,
to you
y'all.
and
I'm
hear
gonna hop
your
off.
thoughts. So
I love her. She's so sweet.
yes.
Yeah, she's great, isn't she?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Jinx, thank you too for jumping up here last
Thanks,
minute and
Jinxie.
yapping and saying
Yeah.
being the fastest mod of this side
Yeah,
of
you're
the
the best.
Midwest.
She's the fastest mod in the West.
Midwest, Mama Bear.
Okay,
Hey,
Midwest.
that's right.
Whatever. It's the saying. See, she always has to correct me. I swear.
Yeah. Well, I thank you for sharing your opinion, Jinx, and and holding back. I know you hold back there, so.
Honestly, I really do. I mean, I have some slip ups. It's word vomit. Okay.
I think I did too.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Too
Well,
much.
thank you, Miss Jinx, for being on.
Much. Well, thank you. No, for real. Thank you so much. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. I gotta go cook some supper. Bye.
Oh,
All righty.
bye,
Bye-bye.
Jinx.
See ya.
Thank you.
All right. Mama Bear, thank you so much for being up here. I was like, Mama Bear,
Thank
we're going
you.
live. We got to talk about this shit. This is amazing.
Isn't that
Like,
the
you
way
won't
it always
believe it. You won't
is?
believe it. I was like,
Oh,
get a
God.
whole page. Wake up Paige's ass. Where is she? I don't understand.
It's thank you to Delphi. I swear to God.
Yeah,
That's how it always
you
is.
try to work on some other cases, and then something else happens
No.
at Delphi. So there you
Can't-
go.
Can't do that.
Absolutely.
We'll try tomorrow again.
Can't have a nap.
Maybe.
Can't cook dinner.
God.
All
All right,
guys.
Mama Bear. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
everybody
being
in
on.
chat. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Miss
Bye.
Paige, thank you for staying up. Later, you're always the latest time for us on this group.
I love
And,
it always.
Yes, and I appreciate you being up here. I knew you would want to know what had just happened with this, so
Yeah.
we shall see.
Okay.
But thank you,
Thanks,
ma'am.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, everybody, thank you so much for jumping into this quick live that we did. It was very informal. We're just yapping, talking, and letting everybody share their opinions, their thoughts, everything that's going on. Not scared to let people do that. I appreciate everybody who jumped up here to talk, and I appreciate all of you guys in chat. Please, if you did not know about the CSAM petty ring that I did about that happened in Indiana and was linked here in Indiana, and people who did not get thrown in jail that they didn't catch, I have that in there. Also about the Keegan Klein setup meeting for Richard Allen. That's a good video to watch. The Yellow app is also a good one if you haven't seen those, if you're new to the channel. And then the Keegan Klein recorded, even though it'll pop up like it's live, it is a recorded for his appeal and the response by the Indiana Attorney General. So it's still sitting in there without an answer and stuff like that too. So we'll see if any of the stuff that's been going down in all of these arrests, meanwhile, while all of a sudden this trial is going to move quicker, because who knows, maybe we have some more witnesses who are now coming forward because they're getting busted with stuff. So, but I appreciate you guys being part of it. We appreciate your support. Please hit that like button for the show. That helps us out a great deal. Please, if you have comments about the show, why you think, was it Richard Allen who insisted on this? Was it his attorneys? His attorneys, do you think, agreed with him? Did they want to move forward this quickly? Did they want to wait till October? What do you think's going on from that? Of course, we're going to be covering the contempt hearing details as we get all of that coming up on the 18th. And, you know, again, thank you so much for being here. And thank you for being a part of making sure that justice is served daily. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.